In the middle of the desert, heat dances above the sand. A lake appears, glimmering in.
What if everything you see is a projection? The red of an apple doesn't exist in the outside world. It's not in the light or in the object. It's a signal inside your brain. The color never existed. It only lives inside your brain. Your eyes are not cameras. They're portals feeding data to an internal engine. The most complex simulator in the known universe. You never see the world directly. You see your brain's best guess of it. Experiments show that every sight, every sound, arrives with a delay. You live 80 milliseconds in the past, while your mind predicts the next frame, like a movie buffering ahead of time. When the prediction fails, the illusion cracks. You miss the gorilla in the room. You forget the face you just saw. Your brain edits the world. It shows you what it thinks you need to see. In a way, we live in a constant hallucination, only stabilized when reality agrees with it. And yet, you never notice the gap. Because your brain edits the truth before you can see it. Maybe reality is not something we enter, but something we generate. Maybe the universe doesn't exist out there. Maybe it's compiled inside our skulls. A simulation so deep we call it life. If you're the observer, who's watching you? I'm sure you've heard the news. Timelines are acting up again. Déjà vu, Mandela effect, days repeating. What if these glitches mean reality isn't what we think? Science says déjà vu is just your brain misfiring, a memory loop. But what if it's a brief sync between two versions of you? Millions swear they remember the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain. The Mandela effect, proof of collective memory, or a timeline overwritten? In 1985, a whole town lived the same day twice. Every diary matched, every clock reset. Maybe our memories aren't broken. Maybe reality itself is updating. So next time your memories don't match the world, ask yourself, which reality are you in?
You probably think you're the same person wherever you go. But pay attention. Notice how you shift. Your voice, your posture, even your thoughts, depending on who's in the room. It feels like there's a true you at the center. But is there? Neuroscience says, not really. My brain is less like a single conductor and more like a parliament, a crowd of different voices, each grabbing the mic when the moment demands. There's no one self, just modules swapping in and out, arguing over what matters. And philosophers? They've been onto this for centuries. Buddhism calls it anatta, no self. Neuroscientists echo this now. The I in my head is just a story, stitched together from memory and habit, always a little bit edited, always a little out of sync. Take the story of the disappearing painter. She paints her own face every day, but every painting looks like a stranger. Her doctors find nothing wrong. Maybe her brain just stopped smoothing out the glitches. Maybe she's seeing the shifting self the way it really is, unstable, constantly in flux. Even a mirror can't show you the real you. What you see is already half a second old, a delayed reflection, filtered by your mind. If your smile arrives before your face moves, which is you, the cause or the effect? So here's the twist. You are not a fixed identity. You're the sum of your moments, rendered on demand, like a story your brain tells to make sense of the world. And every story, even yours, is a beautiful illusion. Who are you really? Maybe the truest answer is whoever you need to be, right now.
Imagine living inside a beautiful prison. Every wall is painted with your favorite memories. Joy, laughter, the warmth of childhood. But every so often, a crack appears. A flicker. Comfort. It's the first layer of control. See, your mind isn't a detective. It's a bodyguard. When something threatens what you believe, Your brain fights back, not to find what's real, but to preserve what's safe. This is cognitive dissonance, a firewall in your head built from denial and hope. We love stories about waking up, the red pill, the blue pill, but in reality, we don't choose truth because it's brave or noble. We only reach for it when the illusion becomes unbearable. Most of us would rather stay asleep, as long as the dream is sweet. Consider the astronaut, drifting above Earth for months. Looking down, they say our planet feels fake, too perfect, almost rendered, like a memory inside a simulation. Distance reveals distortion. Step outside the system, and its edges become painfully clear. The truth? It doesn't set you free, it resets you. It strips away your comfort, your certainty, the stories you told yourself to sleep at night. And what's left is silence. But in that silence, you finally hear what's real. Not the easy answers, not the beautiful lies. Just the world, raw, unfiltered and honest. Truth isn't a gift, it's a collapse. But sometimes the only way out of the simulation is through the pain of waking up. So ask yourself, do you want comfort or clarity? Pause. Fade.
You wake up. The light feels real. The air carries that chilly promise of morning. But so did the last dream, didn't it? How do you know you've really woken up? See, neuroscience has a sneaky sense of humor. It says, your brain never really stops spinning reality, even when you're fast asleep. The same neural fireworks that light up when you look at the world, fire up when you dream it. Your mind doesn't care if it's making things up or reporting what's real. It just believes the strongest signal. So what decides if a world is true? Agreement. If I see a chair and you see a chair, we call that reality. If I see it alone, it's a dream. But both stories are told by the same narrator, my mind. Let's look at something wild. In 2011, in Berlin, a woman kept dreaming her apartment was subtly rearranged, over and over. Months later, she reorganized her furniture and waking life to match the dream. And just like that, her déjà vu vanished. Did her dream predict her reality, or did it create it? Now imagine this. Every night, billions of people dream, building entire worlds out of memory and emotion. Where do all those worlds go? Maybe waking life is just the one dream we all agreed to share. But sometimes perception cracks. Walk down an ordinary street. Suddenly buildings breathe, colors melt, faces blur into abstraction. When perception collapses, the world doesn't disappear. It multiplies. So, you wake up. Again. Same room, same light, same sound. Did you really leave the dream? Or just dive into a deeper layer? I whisper to myself, I think I've been here before. But here's the twist. You never wake up from the dream. You just dream that you did. Fade to white static, then silence.
Have you ever wondered if the universe is actually code? Think about it. Galaxies folding into grids, light bending into binary. The deeper I look, the more reality starts to resemble information, like there's a hidden program running the whole show. Scientists talk about digital physics. The idea that space and time are quantized, chopped up into the tiniest possible pixels of existence. The Planck length is like the smallest bit in the cosmic computer. Even reality, it seems, has a resolution. But here's the twist. This isn't a brand new idea. For centuries, we've searched for the architect, from Plato's cave to Descartes' demon, to every creation myth ever told. We've called the coder God, nature, even pure consciousness. Let me tell you a story. In 2015, at CERN, a researcher supposedly uncovered repeating data patterns in cosmic radiation. He left a note, We are inside the equation. Nobody ever saw him again. It sounds like sci-fi, but it makes you wonder, what would it mean if it were true? Here's a wild thought. What if the programmer isn't out there, somewhere unreachable? What if consciousness itself, your consciousness, writes the code as it observes it? Every act of observation, every choice, collapses a million quantum possibilities into just one. Every thought, literally, changes the world. So maybe the architect isn't above us. Maybe the architect is inside each of us. Maybe we're not just living in a simulation. Maybe we're running it. And if that's true, then the end of illusion isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of creation. Wake up.